the Philadelphia cheesesteak at its heart is really the embodiment of a working class food. It's an object that has really been untouched and unsullied by history and modern food trends. The original is Pat's King of Steaks. It dates back to the 1930s, and Gino's, which is directly across the street from them. I went back to Philadelphia recently, and I got away from the touristy downtown places, and in that moment, it's almost as if you can taste the culture and history in a single sandwich. So I'm here at Joe's, and this is the place that really changed my mind about the cheesesteak. I'd had the other ones, and I thought they were good sandwiches, but they weren't compelling in the way that I find something like this. First of all, it's worn to a dull patina. The signs are all faded and worn. It's like a neighborhood joint. You can feel the buzz of this place. When you bite into a sandwich here, you're tasting Philadelphia history. The bread is really nice. It's soft and has this exterior crunch. I've really come to love the American cheese in the same way I love it on hamburgers. It kind of binds the sandwich together. But of course, the star of the show is this beautifully seared ribeye. This is as delicious as it is inelegant to eat. So these places have a real reputation of being sort of rough and tumble working class places, but really there's so much pride in what they do here. So don't be intimidated. It's all in good fun, and the food is well worth it. Right, I'm here at D'Alessandro's. Let me get a cheesesteak. What's the most popular cheese that you guys get here?
We use American.
That's what I want. Lovely. Thank you. So I'm going to drink this beer while I wait for my steak to be cooked, and that's the thing. You know, if you paid and they hand you the cheesesteak right away, like, that was already made ahead of time. It wasn't made for you. The steak I'm about to eat is made for me. All right, the moment of truth. Look at that thing. Very different shape to the other ones we've had. They all have their sort of unique signature and their own identity. It's just a massive goo of grease and deliciousness. All right, I'm gonna try this one out. Wow. There's always some new flavor note that hits you. This one, in a funny way, it's kind of the cheese gets you. There's a sort of viscous coating of tang on your tongue. Very good sandwich. Look, in fact, look at that. Look at the cheese in that thing. So once you start to explore Philadelphia and realize that there's great cheesesteaks beyond the obvious tourist places, you find them everywhere. Sometimes they're even across the street from each other.
What can I get you?
A cheesesteak?
You want to drink or anything? $1.50 bottles of beer right now?
I'll take a beer.
Frozen mug for you. Yeah, you got that cheesesteak?
That's pretty amazing. Frozen mugs, I love that.
Cheesesteak, fried onions, American cheese.
Wow, thank you so much. They're normally about 8 to 9 ounces of beef. This one seems like 12 ounces. It's just exploding into this bread, and like trying to actually pick the object up is kind of difficult. You know, a lot of the times you'll sort of smell beef on these kind of sandwiches and it just doesn't smell like anything. This actually smells like a steak. Enough talk, let's eat. It's a very different experience. Those crunchy, thick cut onions really add texture and body to it. And there's a real heartiness to the beef here. Probably because it's thick cut and you're maintaining that flavor more. No one's gonna mistake this for any of the other ones that I've eaten. Even though it's a beef and cheese sandwich, this has its own identity. It's got its own flavor profile. And paired with a good local beer, it's hard to argue with it. So we're heading across town now into a very industrial area on the other side of the tracks, John's Roast Pork. Apparently it's not always sunny here. So even though the main crux of my mission is cheesesteaks, I could not come to Philadelphia and not have the vaunted roast pork sandwich. Look at that thing, wow. I think it's kind of unique that actually a pork sandwich is so big in Philadelphia, because outside of the barbecue areas, really beef is always what you find in sandwiches. Wow. I can see what the hype is about. This is a delicious sandwich. It's very Italian-American in its vocation. There's provolone. Even though this is cooked all the way through, it is like as tender as like the most tender turkey breast you've had, but it's got the flavor of pork. So I have several cheesesteaks under my belt, but it's time that I immerse myself in a little bit of culture. So I'm going to head over to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. So Rocky made it all the way to the top of the stairs. I made it one flight up, but the difference is he didn't have a cheesesteak to eat, and I do. So I'm going to sit here and eat it, enjoy this beautiful vista and this lovely Philadelphia day. So that's my cheesesteak tour. What I encourage you to do is get off the beaten path, get out into the neighborhoods, and find out what real Philadelphians eat. So the Philly cheesesteak is really a working man's feast. It's something that any guy can afford. But there's one in the city that's going for quite a bit more. Try $120 all in. So the question stands, is a $120 cheesesteak really worth it? Let's find out.